Hey, if you've been scrolling through endless laptop listings and wondering whether you're about to drop cash on a machine that will actually keep up with your gaming sessions, your work projects, and those occasional video calls, I get that. You're trying to avoid the classic pitfall of buying a good-looking laptop that turns into a brick when the heat builds up or the battery quits after an hour. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In the next few minutes I'll walk through the NIMO 17.3-inch, break down the bits that matter to you, and tell you exactly who should consider it and who can safely skip it. First off, let's talk about why a 17-inch chassis matters. Most gamers and creators gravitate toward 15-inch machines because they're easier to carry, but the larger screen gives you a real desktop-like feel without the extra monitor cable. The NIMO's FHD anti-glare panel feels spacious enough for multiple windows side by side, which is a massive boost when you're editing a video while keeping an eye on a Discord chat. The anti-glare coating also does a decent job in bright rooms, so you won't be squinting under a kitchen light during a weekend gaming marathon. Performance-wise, the heart of this laptop is the AMD Ryzen 7 7735HS. It's an 8-core, 16-thread chip that can boost up to 4.75 GHz. In practice that translates to consistent 60+ FPS in titles like Elden Ring when you dial the graphics down to a medium-high setting. It's also comfortable for productivity suites. My own spreadsheets opened in under a second, and compiling code in Visual Studio didn't cause any stutter. The integrated Radeon 680M isn't a dedicated GPU, but it handles most esports titles **Valorant**, League of Legends, Fortnite without dropping frames. If you're hoping to run the latest AAA releases at ultra settings, you'll need a more powerful dedicated GPU. This is more of a light gaming solution that balances power and heat. Heat and fan noise are where a lot of laptops get judged harshly, and the NIMO is no exception. Under sustained load, say a 3-hour shadow of the Tomb Raider session, the fans ramp up to a steady whir that you can definitely hear in a quiet room. The noise level sits around 45 dB, comparable to a normal conversation, which is tolerable if you're playing with headphones on. However, the chassis does feel warm to the touch after an hour of continuous rendering, especially near the exhaust vents. If you plan to work from a coffee shop, the fan's audible presence might be a mild distraction, but it never becomes a full-blown roar. Battery life is another real-world factor. With the 100 WPD fast charging capability, you can go from 0 to 80% in roughly 45 minutes, which is a nice convenience if you're constantly on the move. The 56Wh battery, however, only gives you about 5 hours of mixed usage gaming for an hour, then a couple of hours of web browsing and office work. That's decent for a 17-inch machine, but it's not something you'd rely on for a full day unplugged. If you need longer unplugged sessions, consider a laptop with a larger battery or plan on keeping a charger handy. Now, let's talk about the keyboard and extra features. The Backlit keyboard includes a full numeric keypad, which is a pleasant surprise on a laptop that size. The key travel is around 1.5 mm, giving a decent tactile feel without being too clicky. My main complaint is that the spacebar feels slightly shallow, making rapid typing a bit less comfortable over long stretches. The fingerprint sensor sits conveniently on the power button, and it does a quick job unlocking Windows 11 in less than a second. For privacy-focused users, that's a practical addition you'll actually use. Port selection is fairly generous. You have a USB-C port that supports both data and the 100 WPD, a pair of USB 3.2 ports for peripherals, an HDMI 2.1 output for an external monitor, and a full-size SD card slot handy for photographers who need to offload RAW files quickly. I've used the HDMI to drive a 4K TV for a couch gaming session and the signal stayed stable, though the laptop itself maxes out at 1080p. The Wi-Fi 6 module performed well in my apartment, handling video calls on Zoom without dropping packets, which is a relief when you're juggling a remote meeting and a game stream. Who should buy this? If you're a student or a freelance creator who needs a large screen for design work, occasional light gaming, and a reliable setup for video calls, the NIMO hits a sweet spot. Its combination of a respectable CPU, fast PCIe 4.0 SSD, and a decent amount of RAM, 16GB DDR5, means it can handle multitasking without lag. The price point is also competitive compared with similarly spec'd 17-inch laptops that lean more heavily on premium branding. People who work mainly on cloud-based software, use the laptop for both productivity and casual gaming, and don't mind a modest fan tone will find it a good fit. Who should skip it? If you're after hardcore gaming,